everybody, whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world. This is Coast to Coast. We got everybody in the house. I didn't get the memo to wear red today, but here we are. What's up, guys?
It wasn't a memo. It was just a private text message between the two of us.
All right.
Sorry. Yeah, we're great buds off air. We talk all the time, everything. So.
Exactly. He felt bad. He wants to try to emulate more like me.
Well, yeah, I guess I could just bring up everybody's childhood trauma and the worst thing about them. All the guests fat. Hey, you remember this play from 10 years ago that you hated? Let's talk about it. That's
how do you feel about it now?
Priceless. We get into the NFL because that will definitely dominate the show with the amount of free agency that's going on. We got to talk a little bit about the WNBA to kick this thing off, because today is that day that they're supposed to put up or shut up kind of situation, right? And I haven't heard anything about them signing a deal. They have until this afternoon, but it's sure starting to look a lot more like a strike is going to happen.
Which is maybe the dumbest thing. You get some momentum maybe in the last 2 years, and let's be honest, Caleb Clark really helped usher a lot of stuff in, but you've had stellar rookie classes the last 2 years, and Unrivaled is out there now. Like, this is the time to get something done. And now we're just going backwards. It doesn't even make sense. And you're trying to add 2 expansion teams in the middle of all this too. Like, none of this makes any sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, the timeline, if they get it done today, is tough anyway.
Right.
So you add the fact that, let's be honest, it does not look like anything's going to happen today.
Right.
Based on what's come up to this point, I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard anything that's promising. Right. Now, who knows? Maybe they get their act together real quick this afternoon. Who knows? I wouldn't even bet that 10% guarantee on that. Use QR code on the screen. You can do a prop bet on whether or not there is a WNBA season this year. But yeah, no, it's I don't know. Everything that I've heard so far, they still sound like they're miles apart.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, they're still arguing over gross versus net.
That's exactly it. That's the problem.
Yep. And they can't get past that point. So I don't even see where the rest of the negotiations even begin.
Yeah, no, it sure looks like you're going to be missing sometime this season at a minimum. Right. Now, again, maybe one side caves. I don't really see, like, neither side has indicated that they're going to do that. So this stalemate looks like it's going to go on for a little while. So I don't know. Maybe I'm going to be better at covering rugby this year. I don't know.
Well, for me also, the later it goes, especially your middle to top players, at what point do you start just going to sign with a league overseas like they used to do anyway, and you just start losing. Like, you can't sit around and hope that happens, right? That they ratify the agreement, whatever. So at some point you have to look out for yourself. So I can foresee a lot of that stuff. The longer you delay, does that delay the expansion, right? You can't necessarily, like, I know stuff has been signed, whatever, right? You can't delay it for a year, but are you going to be in the best position to try and pull off? And then you've mentioned it before, like 90% of the league is free agents, so everybody has to hurry up, sign their people. Then somebody has to draft these. Like, I just don't get the logistics of everything. And it's like you said earlier, they set today as a deadline date. But even after you sign, it takes 2 or 3 weeks to ratify everything and go through all this stuff. Like, you're just
So the important dates, right, is so today was the day that they have to, that the Players Association said, hey, this is the day we need something by.
Right.
So say that goes through, then it would basically be the 31st by the time that contract is ratified, right? And then your April schedule is ridiculous because you have the expansion draft from the 1st to the 6th, the qualifying offers being signed on the 7th and 8th, free agency from the 12th to the 18th, the normal draft on the 13th, training camp the 19th, first preseason games the 25th. So somehow between the 1st and the 25th, you got to have 2 drafts and a free agency period, have everybody signed to play games by the 25th.
Right.
I mean, good luck.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense. So the way the college to pro season went always with the WNBA, our things are already smushed up, and now it's even worse. Like, you're sitting there trying to wonder if you have a season, you can't get your last bit of scouting in if you're running around doing all this extra stuff. Like, I don't get it. And like I said in the beginning, all the momentum they kind of had going into this, and old guard versus new guard, there's like a lot of potential good storylines for this season. And now we've just made it versus a, players versus management kind of thing. And it's just bad for the game.
Mm-hmm.
No. And I don't even know who I agree. I mean, I get what they're, wanting, obviously, with, gross versus net and all this stuff. But I don't know. It just feels like I think they're trying to leverage like the Caitlin Clark stuff and the Unrivaled to now make their stand right now. But I just don't know.
No, it's Arena One. Yeah, so I do actually cover Arena One already. So my April, if these guys were to actually figure this out, would be stupid, because it would be the NHL, Major League Rugby, Arena One, and the WNBA. They all have overlap in April. So if I randomly am not alive anymore in May, it's because my wife killed me because I was never at home.
Wow. Well, at least you were always moving, so it was tough for her to get you, right?
But she knows where I'll be. That's the.
Oh yeah, true. Good luck to you, Bo. I know the thought of me and Philly having to do the show by ourselves, though, we'll protect you. We'll make sure that you're here to stand between us. So
yeah, the Rags and Pags show that'll work perfect.
I mean,
I like it.
You're probably talking about a ratings bonanza. Like, I'm tuning in for that. So.
Turned off Get Up to watch us. See, I like it, Jamie.
Yeah.
Welcome in.
But like, realistically, what if they do strike? Like, what does that do for the WNBA? What does that do for the league?
So it hurts.
Like, I just can't see this.
It hurts the league way more than it does the players.
Right.
Because the players have started their own leagues that, Unrivaled just had their championship. And, the ratings for Unrivaled was actually great. So, I don't see where the WNBA drawing this hard line over a couple of percentage points makes a lot of sense, because not having a season is going to cost you way more than that. So, yeah, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, there's some fine tuning on things, right? Like the negotiations for the housing end of it for your rookies that aren't really making any money. Obviously there's some concessions that can happen there. So, both sides need to come to the table here, but the WNBA loses more than the players do.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why I said they'll find other things to do, especially like your top end players, they'll sign somewhere else. And a lot of them were making as much, if not more, than you can make with the WNBA over summer. Russia was giving out big bucks back in the day for WNBA players. So there's plenty of other leagues. There's plenty of overseas stuff. So they'll figure something else out. But I don't know. This is the worst timing that I think I've ever seen.
I just like that the WNBA is PAG's NHL. Just quiet.
Well, no, because first off, I'm reading to see exactly where they're at with things, and it's likely going to get extended till Friday.
Yeah,
is my expectation that they're going to extend that deadline some. I was just reading how Caitlin Clark is like, listen, why don't, instead of them faxing over offers or emailing them over, why don't they get in a room together?
Yeah.
And when your top player is saying, maybe we should all sit down and talk this out. The fact that that's not been done tells me exactly where they want this to be in the first place.
Yeah.
And the worst part about it is that not only is it going to affect the WNBA in a real sense, in terms of, you know, if the deadline passes and goes and what have you, it becomes more a matter of what's going to happen when they do get it ratified and they do figure this all out, or if they don't,
Then what
what
happens?
happens to all that money that all these networks put in? Because these networks,
Yeah.
you have to plan this networking stuff. Like you
Yep.
have to get this all together. This is programming that they are expecting.
Yep.
Now they got
Yeah.
to scramble to fix that. And I think of like these women's sports networks that are relying on this basketball to actually be played. Now, when it comes to women's sports networks, I mean, they can switch it back over and show more college games. There are a lot of women playing sports, and you can
Well, and soccer,
always find, yeah,
soccer's kicking off. So I mean,
Right.
right. There's lots of
Yeah.
different ways that they can do that, but the moment they start doing that, that's definitely the end of the WNBA.
Oh, for sure. For
Yep.
sure. And they've already planned that ESPN Women's Sunday. That's why they're moving stuff off. So, like to your point, if WNBA loses their spot and they have to fill that day with a different one, and it's just fine, like we're not coming back to the table. We're just gonna be like, okay, we'll just move forward with whatever programming we had there. So,
well, and it would be one thing if you were talking about a couple of percentage points, but your league was already paying more than the other places they could go.
right.
You carry a lot more weight with that negotiation. When you are the underpaid league compared to the other ones,
Yeah.
it's tough to be like, oh, but you make more here because you don't. Like,
Yeah.
they're like, hey,
Yeah.
we're going to pay you less and you can work 3 times as long. It's like, oh yeah, that sounds like an awesome deal. Thanks.
Yeah. And that's the other problem. A lot of your top players are making more on endorsements and other deals than they are with this anyway. So they're just kind
Well,
of fighting for the whole thing.
And they're making more in the other leagues. Like that's the biggest issue is the overseas stuff pays similarly.
Oh, for sure.
And then Unrivaled pays like double. And then that Project B was paying really well. So, I mean, it had some interesting funding, but whatever. Right? However the money comes
Interesting funding is not really a bad thing in the United States. Where it's like,
So it, I don't know. They don't have the negotiating power that I think they do. Like I get
Correct.
that it's the WNBA and it has that prestige to it because it's viewed as the top league. But it's kind of like when people are like, hey, we're not going to pay you money, but you're going to get exposure. You're like, yeah, you know who doesn't cash exposure checks? All of my bills. Like,
right.
so you're going to get exposure.
Exactly.
Like, that's cute. But you know what actually helps me out is those little green pieces of paper.
Yeah. Well, I start to wonder how much it hurt when Collier came out and said, like, this is basically what the commissioner or whatever said about everybody, and that Caitlin Clark needs us. We don't need Caitlin Clark, and basically to end the season. You just wonder how much of this now is pride stuff versus because, like what Pat said, like they won't even come to the table to talk to each other in person. Is this just feels like it's way more personal than business at this point?
Oh, it definitely has some of that. Yeah, there is no question. They hurt each other's feelings and they're kind of doubling down on it, right? Which is a great negotiating contract, but at the same time, they have, even if they wait till Friday, I still feel like they're too far away to get that done this week.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're squabbling over net versus gross, like that is a huge number.
Yes.
At least it always was with my businesses because my net was generally gross.
Right.
It was
How long have
nuts.
you been waiting to make that joke? How long?
You know, not very, because it bums you out a little bit when you're looking at your net and you're like, oh,
Like, hey,
Yep.
little buddy.
I'll go get myself a slice of pizza.
Yes. Yes. No, no.
And
I
No
cost
the
extra
harder
cheese.
the harder part about that is that we don't understand even the semantics of the numbers. Like,
for sure.
so just to give you an idea, the WNBA, the league itself, is offering 70% revenue share. Like, it's like 70% of the uh, gross, you know what I mean, whatever they make. Where the league is asking, or the players are asking for 28% of the gross.
Yeah.
You know, like, so it's like the 70% of the net in comparison to 26 or 28% of the gross.
Right.
How far away is that?
So
Is
the
the
article I
league
read
not
said
making that much money?
15%. Yeah, the article that I read, and I haven't dove into numbers, so there's just article, but it said that was like a 15%
Yeah.
difference in what your numbers were. So
Which is significant.
and then of course they keep pointing out the NBA gets this and the NBA. I just don't think that strategy is working for them.
So the reason why you go after the gross is because if you're a smart business owner, you manipulate the net, right? The gross is the revenue that comes in. The net is your profit. But if you're a smart business, you manipulate the profit. Like
and that's what,
you buy things. And so you never want to revenue share the net, because if you have smart people up front, they're never going to make money. Especially when they have to start sharing it. So that's why you always go after the gross, because then it's like, well, I don't care what your profit is. This is the money coming in. We want a percentage of that. And so I get why they're like, oh, no, you can have 70% of the net because we're never going to show a profit again.
And that's what I feel like. All of a sudden, I bought myself an extra car, and somewhere in the line item, it's like a business expense. And yeah,
this is the 15th jet for the WNBA. It's crazy.
So no, I get why they are. I just I don't know. They always try to compare themselves to an NBA, and I just don't know that that's like, I get it, but
so
one of those is making a lot more money.
The thing is it doesn't matter the volume of money you're making, because you're talking percentages. So if you make less, you make less, right? So it doesn't matter if one is wildly more successful. That just means they make more because the percentage is on a bigger number. But if your number is smaller, your percentage, incidentally, is smaller. So, I mean, you can't really compare apples to apples in that way. It's like, yeah, okay, their number has an extra zero behind it, but that doesn't change what percentages mean. So, you know, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. Again, I don't think it happens today, but even if it happens by Friday, or if they extend it to Friday, that timeline, I mean, you're inside of a week of you missing some time no matter what, just because you won't be able to get all this stuff done.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the ratification portion is what really causes a lot of the headaches, because I'm not going to say what I really feel, but I got to imagine, like,
they're in the radio audience.
Only because it's like, when I think about it, like, there's a lot of different mindsets amongst women in general, and different from men, where the guys seem to elect a few guys to speak for the group. I feel like that the women all want to have their voices heard, and there becomes a lot of voices. You know what I
Sure.
mean? And that's going to really challenge the ratification process. And that's kind of what I really mean by that. Like where that's where it's like because I just instead of because I feel like football players, they're like, yeah, we want this, we want this, we want this. They have their guys do it, and then once the CBA says, okay, guys, this is what is on our table, they're like, yeah, sure. I don't understand it. I'm not even reading it. I'm signing off on it. But
Yeah.
there's a piece of that. You know what I mean? These guys are making they know that they're getting 50% of the revenue share
Well,
in the
not only that,
NFL.
but in the NFL, your base pay is like $500,000.
Right.
Mhm.
So, I mean, you're talking wildly different numbers from 70K, where you need a roommate in Seattle. Like
Right.
if you're making 70K, that's in the Seattle market, that is a bless your heart amount of money. It's like, oh, that's cute, Buckaroo. So
What do you mean you can't live on that?
the team gave you a bus pass, right? So it's
So you got to create a little like a couple of apartments in your backyard there, and then you can just start to harbor the girls there. Right. Be like, hey, I'll just take some of that money. We'll do this. This is cheap housing for you guys.
Exactly.
Set up a basketball court for you to practice.
Yeah, no, it's and I think that plays into some of it, right? When you got these guys that are like, yeah, I don't know what I'm looking at. The rookies are getting what $600 and some $1,000, right? And then your veteran minimum is like $1.5 million, right? So I mean, yeah, you're doing fine in the NFL even if you aren't paying attention. Whereas
Right.
this is a huge negotiation for the women in this one because they largely haven't made a lot of money yet.
Right.
Oh. Well, I wish them
Minimum.
luck.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I mean, it's obviously something I've been watching a lot because I'm curious if I'm going to have to drive to Climate Pledge a lot more. But as it sits today, no. That being said, there is a lot going on in the NFL. And Joe, the NFL did strike before, and it was an interesting time period. It's been a while, but
Mhm.
but it
And that
has
where the
helped.
replacements movie came from?
Exactly.
Exactly 100%. It's that I'll never forget it because I mean I was in high school during the time. It was the Buddy Ryan era. We had Norman Brayman, who was part of the reason why the strike occurred because he was such a horrible owner and wanted to keep every penny for himself. He was a used car salesman who like did not want to own a franchise. He was just, I'm a businessman and I'm going to make money and I'm going to hold the city hostage and move our team to Arizona and shut up. I can't, he was one of those guys that I still have a disdain for. Guy has passed on years now, and I still am not happy with the way that he ran the franchise. He cost us Reggie White.
Yeah.
So and just that's somebody who just didn't get it. He didn't get it. I was very happy when Jeffrey Lurie came in to buy the team. So,
Yeah.
but either way, yes, free agency began, and the Eagles don't have much to talk about because all they did was lose players.
Seattle did exactly that. Yeah. But I mean, let's be honest. Other teams overpay to dismantle Super Bowl teams.
For sure.
I mean, it happens every year. If a team goes deep in the playoffs, the other teams are like, hey, you know what? You're not worth this, but it's worth it for me to tank them.
Yeah. Yep. And as a player, you're like, my value might not ever be higher. So let me go ahead and
Yeah.
grab what I can now for
Well,
sure.
especially if you just won, right? Because you got your ring. Now you're like, oh, let me cash in. So, I mean, I get it.
Right. And you had said that before with Walker. You knew he was gone. So
Yeah. No, I figured KC because they have those other 2 first-round picks, and they get
Right.
rid of their corner to the Rams, and then so you can use one of those first-rounders to get that. I forget the kid's name, the corner, and then you can use that 29th pick for one of your offensive linemen that you need. So
Right.
it made a lot of sense to me. Not that he was going to stay in Seattle regardless, but that particular landing spot made a lot of sense.
And it's a 3-year, $45 million deal.
Yeah.
So it's $15 million a year.
Yeah.
And all right, I get it. You know what I mean? There was a lot of different things that occurred, and I mean, I'm watching it, in Clearwater, which is tough for me because I'm not in Philly and I got to get it kind of third hand. And I'm watching Pat McAfee and, watching the ticker and seeing everybody else signing people and wondering, hey, what are the Eagles going to do? Hey, I know the Eagles were targeting that guy. Guess they're not getting him now. Hey, I thought we were going to maybe re-sign Reed Blankenship. He's going to go. Nakobe Dean, I know that we were considering maybe trying to keep him, but
And
he's
he's
likely going to go. Gone. It was like, wow. It's like, I didn't really care about the wide receiver position. I feel like that is the one spot that we're good at, and I know that the Eagles still have Quez Watkins on their practice squad, and he's been working on his hands because he's got to be able to catch the ball. That's a big deal. He's still got the
get him
speed.
to stick him.
Franklin, you're gonna catch the ball. Say that you understand.
What are they gonna do? Fire you? Yeah. No, it's love that movie.
It is a great. We quote it way too much on this show.
Yeah. No, I mean, and we re-sign Rashid Shaheed, and I actually thought he was going to go to the Raiders. Raiders made a ton of moves. But I thought Shaheed was going to be gone. They end up giving him some real money. 3 years for 51 for a guy that really wasn't involved in the offense. So all I can figure is they are going to let Jake Bobo walk, and they're going to give his touches to Shaheed. Still, that just seems like a lot of money for your third option.
Right. And a guy that you were like already saying goodbye to, and now he's back here, and you're like, whoa, I thought we broke up. Like,
like I'm not mad at it because he changes your special teams, right? Like he is a game changer in that element of the game. But because we just didn't use him in the offense,
right?
It seems like a lot of money for a guy you only used as a gadget on offense and a special teamer, right? Like that's a ton of money for a special teamer. So I have to assume that they're like, hey, you're fast. What if maybe we get the ball in your hands more? Like, that's all I can think because they didn't do it last year,
Right.
So, I think he only had, a few hundred yards receiving for the year because he was just primarily used in, special teams. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what this shakes out to be. But that's really the only guy we retained. We lose Maffei, we lose Walker, we lose Kobe Bryant. A lot of our free agents all left. And they're going to get way more money going other places. Kobe Bryant joins.
You did re-sign Joby.
Yeah,
Joby, whatever his name is.
Yep.
And pretty good deal on his part. I mean, I think it was like $16 million guaranteed. It's $8 million a year, so they guaranteed for 2 years. He's got him for 3 year, $24 million. Drake Thomas is a 2 year, $8 million, and so obviously they stay cheap because you always are talking about that they don't like to spend money, and those two deals are not a lot of money. the $51 million deal is odd. Now, I understand that wide receivers are making more money. And I get it that they don't value the running back position financially the same way that they value wide receivers.
Yeah.
That being said, it's interesting that the running back position is what got you guys really to the playoffs, was the position that really solidified. I mean, you got NJB or NGB that was great for you guys, and is going. He's getting paid because of that.
Sure.
So obviously, him catching the ball all the time, because that's really who you threw it to. You didn't really throw it to anybody else, and your running backs.
Yeah,
and
JSN
your
had
running
a
back.
huge year. He's going to make insane money, but Seattle's going to pay him.
Hasn't he already come out and said, I want to be the highest paid? Or
Yeah.
is that just like a given? But yeah. No.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You've gotten
deserved
better
that.
every single year. He's going to get paid. I mean, they paid DK the first time, right? Like Seattle's not afraid to pay receivers. Apparently, even wide receiver 3. So like I get it on that front, but yeah, I mean they just won't pay a running back. And so to answer this question, who's going to have to step up? They're going to draft somebody. They only have 4 picks, but they're going to grab somebody in the 2nd or 3rd round.
Yeah,
because that's what they do. Walker was a 2nd round pick. Charbonnet was a 2nd round pick.
And I'd be willing to bet that they're going to trade out of that 1st round pick. Obviously, the number 32 pick is not a real coveted spot. It's only coveted if you want that 5th year.
Exactly.
And there are 5th, 6th, and 7th round picks to be picked up because of that. So you're going to see somebody early in the 2nd round pick up that 1st round pick, because they're going to want that extra year of eligibility,
for sure,
and give up like a 5th and a 7th and like maybe 2 7ths. You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
I think the Raiders will jump up to grab Seattle's 32nd spot there, to grab another offensive lineman, have that 5th year of eligibility to it.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
That because they're only sitting, I think they're the 5th pick in the 2nd round. So if Seattle were to get that one, that's probably where they draft their running back, because I forget what their other 2nd round selection is, but I think it's kind of middle late, something like that. But I could see them grabbing a running back somewhere right there in the middle of the 2nd round, because there are a couple of good running backs that fit a running back by committee system. And
plus the fact that you only got one going in the 1st round, you're just like, I have my choice of like, here's 3 guys I like. I'm going to get who I like still. So no, I get why they do it now with running backs.
Yeah. The kid out of Penn State, and then there's another kid out of the UW. Both of them fit our system really well. And both of them will be available middle of the 2nd round. So I would not be shocked if that's the route they go. They're both hard runners. They have good hands. The kid out of Penn State, I think, put up like 1,300 yards this year. So it's I will be shocked if they don't draft a running back.
So
I agree with you.
The Dolphins.
So the Raiders do have 2 1st round picks, and then their 2nd round pick is pick 36. Sorry, Philly, go ahead. My bad.
The Dolphins signing Malik Willis.
Yep.
He'd been linked there for a while, though.
Well, he's been linked in a lot of different places. I thought that there was the Falcons maybe had a little bit of interest. The Titans, were back on it and stuff like that. And I don't know. Is he really the quarterback that's going to lead Miami?
No, but he is the guy that can win you some games, and they can't afford anybody that's high value because they have a $99 million cap hit from Tua.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I mean, you don't get your pick. You get, you'll do.
Yeah. This is definitely like hey, this is going to be a down year. Whatever happens kind of thing. Let's give you a tryout. Let's see what happens. And,
and it's over 2 years. So, I mean, obviously it's, you know, 49.5 million each year for the next few years. And of course, he's going to go to the Falcons, where
Yep.
I mean, is he going to challenge for a starting position, or are they going to give it to him?
Well, no, I think what it is you have two quarterbacks that can survive 8 games. So between the two of them, you got most of a season, and then you throw your third stringer out there.
Are you doing them 4 and 4, or are you going to go for the whole 8 and then the last 8? Like, what's the strategy here?
It's injury decisions. So it's like it's going to be Penix for like 5 weeks, and then it'll be Tua for like 3, and then be back to Penix for 1 or 2, and then back over to Tua for like 3 or 4, and
then at that point it becomes a who's playing better, because they're both going to stink.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's going to be who's available at the end, right? Like you're just like, okay, let's see. We're actually going to sneak into the playoffs somehow. It looks like, wow, who's our third stringer? Yeah, you're starting in the playoffs because neither of our starters are good.
Yeah. But at that point, they have to go get Dylan Gabriel and just keep it all left-handed.
There we go.
That's their only other choice at this point, right? So, it's interesting, especially with a gettable division. That's just, and as much as they've put in the draft picks on offense, and Alabama. We have a group chat where it's all Alabama people, and then Falcons fan in there. And first he was like, no. Then he was trying to talk himself into it, and I was just like, you can't replace injury prone with injury prone. Like that just doesn't even. We said the same thing when
Miami did that with yours.
And that's what I was going. That's what I was saying. And Miami tried it once, and then I don't know. It's just I'm gonna pick the Panthers to win that division. I think next year. That's what I'm gonna go for.
And interestingly enough, the Panthers are the one team that has they are the lowest. Like they have the best, the worst odds to make it. I think they were a plus 550 to win that division. Everybody else is slated to win that division over top of them.
Really?
And the other thing that I thought was really funny, as we're talking about, like as I'm just looking at the odds really quickly and stuff like that, as I saw that on Pat McAfee yesterday, I would take a flyer on the Arizona Cardinals to win the division.
No.
They are a plus 6,000.
Oh, you mean just throw pizza money at it? I got you.
Yeah, like just throw like $20.
No, I'm with
you. You can send me the $20.
I'll even buy a pizza with it.
Yeah.
Little Caesars, mind you, because pizza's expensive. But
yeah.
I mean, the Raiders are the other team. It was interesting to me to see some of the Patriots just in the Super Bowl. Buffalo is still slated to win that division. Kansas City slated to win the division, even though their quarterback's not going to be there. Although they say that now he's going to be in training camp and be able to maybe take reps in training camp, which is going to be really amazing if he's able to bounce that quickly. But but Kansas City to win that division. I mean, we just had. There's the little turmoil in Denver. I mean, the moment that the coach said, yeah, he talked about his injury, and Bo Nix is like, no, that's not true. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Then you have problems when that occurs and stuff like that. But it's going to be very interesting to kind of see, because the Raiders are like a plus 8,000 to win the division, and I don't think that there's any chance that happens. You could put any amount of money on that, and that ain't going to occur. So
I don't know. I feel like the Raiders have a better shot than the Cardinals.
The Cardinals, yes. If you told me I had to pick between those two,
I'm taking the Raiders.
I'm going Raiders.
Yeah,
for sure.
Cardinals,
and what is it? Gardner Minshew versus Jacoby Brissett. I'm just not, sold on that quarterback battle.
Yeah, but they also are they were the ones that I thought could possibly make a move for the Raiders' first pick. I thought that they could because that seems like a thing for them to do. I don't know that I would put all my stock in Mendoza, right?
Right.
But somebody's going to, whether it's
Yeah.
going to be the Raiders or whether it's going to be somebody that moves up and gives away a couple of first round picks to try to make that occur. And I don't know. I mean, it's just like I said, I don't know that I would trust Mendoza, but if I'm the Raiders, they still have $100 million to give away this year.
Well, and
I
they've
mean,
been signing people.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Then
they're
right. Yeah.
Yeah, like they've already signed to Kobe Dean, right? They bring in a center in Linderbaum.
They made him like the
Quay
highest
Walker,
paid center
linebacker.
like ever, right?
Something like that. I haven't seen his contract, but I heard it was healthy.
Yeah. Like 27, 28 million, somewhere in there. Something.
Yeah, I mean they've been busy, and you add that to all their picks. If I remember right, they got quite a few comp picks here too. I think they have like 3 or 4 comp picks. So I mean, they are.
Here's who they signed: kicker Matt Gray, center Tyler Linderbaum, 3-year, $81 million.
There it is.
Because at one point there was somebody that's, I want to say that
27. Yeah.
there was a guard that signed, and he signed the largest deal for an interior lineman, and then that got trumped by Tyler Linderbaum later in the day. Nakobe Dean, 336. Linebacker Quay Walker, 340.5. Linebacker Quiddy Page, 3-year, $48 million. So now just there alone, they've signed 4, re-signed Malcolm Kuntz. So that's 4 linebackers right there. Jalen Naylor, wide receiver, 3-year, 35. They re-signed their cornerback Eric Stokes, 330, and they traded for Taron Johnson and a 7th round pick for a 6th round pick.
And
of course they
add
got
11 draft picks to that too. So
Yeah, exactly.
and then 2 first round picks now. They got of course Baltimore's first round pick.
Yeah.
This year and next year.
No, I mean, and that's the thing, right? Is like the Raiders are trying to be good now. Like they're just like, okay, we got all this money, we got all these picks. We watched what the Patriots just did, go from worst to first. Let's do this thing. I mean, and I'm not mad at it. I mean, you've seen it work. On the other hand, you're watching the Rams just say, hey, we don't care about picks at all. And their roster sure looks like they could be the best team in the league if everything was today.
Yeah. Aren't they playing? They're picking up people like they said, look, Stafford's got 1 more year. We're going to make the absolute best of it and try and win this whole thing next year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, they systematically went after their cornerbacks.
Yep.
So now they got McDuffie and Jalen Watson. So that was where they felt they lost to the Seahawks. Yep. They are, I feel like that they try to Band-Aid things. And it's like, okay, we're going to put a Band-Aid here. We're going to put a Band-Aid here. We're going to put a Band-Aid here and try to solve the problem and try to make it go. But they had like Pro Bowlers retire. Yep. Lots of them. It was like, if you're on the Rams, that's where you go to retire. Because your last contract is with them where you're going to get paid a lot of money. And then they force you to retire because they need to get the money back. They figure out other ways. They're like, hey, we're just going to hire you in our front office, and we'll give you that money in our front office so that we don't have to show that on the books as dead space. And if you retire, it comes off the books, which is a better way of doing that. Like it's
So, but in their defense, they're pretty good Band-Aids that they're putting on. They'll save the surgery for later. They'll put this really deluxe, Dora the Explorer Band-Aid on it.
That's right.
And that sucker is great because that's it's like what you guys said earlier. They don't care about the future; they want to win tomorrow.
Well, and they don't care about
worry about So
like they have their stars on the field that can go beat anybody.
Yeah,
and when they get hurt, they got nobody behind them because we watched that a couple of years where you're like, okay, their starting lineup, it's nice, and then they had like 3 guys get hurt, and they're like, well, better luck next year. Like,
Yeah, and really, the competition that they have is the Dodgers. I mean, that's what they're trying to do. They have nobody. They don't have a fan base, a real fan base for the
sure.
Rams. You know, when their slogan is "Whose house?" When you have to ask that question, "Whose house is it?" It's the opposing teams. Every opposing team that goes in there, because I know
Yep.
the Eagles. When the Eagles go in there, we own it. We own that stadium.
Mhm.
You know, it's so when you're asking whose house, it's everybody else's house. That's what the problem is.
Well, yeah. See,
Um,
that's the thing is it's actually the opposing teams walking in. They're like, whose house is this? Like,
Mhm.
I mean, we lost to the Chargers this year. It was the first time that we've lost in SoFi in
okay.
6 attempts. So it was like, hey, we're 5-1. That's not too bad. And every time we go there to play the Rams, we beat them. Yeah.
Sure.
And for some reason, McVay is he's got a mental block about trying to beat us. He just can't do it, to the tune of 2 blocked field goals to give it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was there any surprise, Travis Kelce?
I was surprised that I was a little surprised he stayed with Casey just because of what this team is likely going to be
Right.
with Mahomes being out for at least until week 4. And even if he is back by then, he's not going to be right until halfway through the season. Right. So to go back and I don't know. I mean, unless you're just trying to get your, receiving record, right? A yardage record, but that's going to be hard to do without a quarterback. Right. And he's still going to have to play for almost 2 years to be able to get that. I kind of thought he was going to take a real look at the Giants
I thought
because,
so too.
there's enough other stuff going on there that I thought that would have been a good fit for him. His decline at the position wouldn't hurt as much with the other talent that's there. He gets a $12 million deal. That's relatively cheap, when you think about it. So I kind of thought he was going to be a Giant. For him to go back to KC, I don't know. It just didn't. It doesn't move the needle at all. But it was. I don't know. It just. I don't see the point of it unless you just wanted to play football, right?
Right. And you don't even know who the quarterback is to start the year right now, right?
No, not really.
Well, that's why the report came out that Mahomes is going to be in camp and he's going to be taking reps in camp. That he's bounced, like that. There's been a bounce, and listen, only because I know from personal experience now, like a lot of these guys have started to go overseas or
Oh, of
down
course.
south and to start to get these, stem cells and things like that.
Absolutely.
And
Right.
it really is creating uh, revolutionary repairs to a body that gets beat up, and it's like that so much so that it's becoming a big deal. Like that, hey, you know what? Here's what we're doing. Right after the season, we are going to go down to Costa Rica or Colombia, and we are going to go get the whole thing. We're getting a rewash, and it's 2 weeks. And guess what? You come back feeling like a brand new person.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I was making the kind of money they are, I would do it literally every year.
Yeah.
Right.
As soon as the
I
season's done,
I would do it on the bye week.
Yep.
I'm
Yeah.
doing it on the bye week and get the 3-day. Hey, I'm here for 3 days. I'm relaxed. Ooh, yeah. Ooh. Feel that. I mean, I got an elbow that hurts right now. I was just doing a wave runner yesterday. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of different things that are happening. So that being said, I feel like that it's possible that he could only miss like 2 games. Which is
I mean,
instead of half the season.
if he's back that soon, obviously that changes stuff, right?
Yeah.
And if he's going to be taking those reps, I mean, it's encouraging. That being said, we've seen other people with this injury. They still didn't look good that first year. That first year back still wasn't right.
Right.
Well,
And mobility is such a big part of what he does. So
Exactly.
you can't have a guy who's all of a sudden just stuck back there, or even tentative. You know how that is the first time's back from injury. So
Yep.
all that plays a factor in it for me. And then, like you said, with Kelsey, this, again, his last year, you're trying to make the best of it. But I wouldn't have been surprised. It has to be for the records, or like you said, I guess just the absolute love, because you've got enough other stuff going on. Like, he doesn't need this at all. So,
Oh yeah, like his after football stuff is set, right? Like
yeah.
they've already said they'll give him a spot in one of the booths. Obviously, his podcast does, great. So I
Right.
mean,
he's
it's
part owner of Great Adventure.
Yeah.
He owns a beer.
Yeah.
Listen, the guy doesn't need his soon wife to be able to be in the billion-dollar numbers very soon, to be able to make that type of money. So I feel like that he is still in, because once you stop playing, you can't start it back up again.
Oh, for
Well,
sure.
unless you're Carson Palmer. But short of that, or not Carson Palmer. What's his
Phillip
face?
Rivers. Yeah, I knew.
Phillip
I
Rivers,
knew you
yeah.
meant.
We shook our head. We knew, like, we translated it. We're like, yeah, he meant Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Exactly. They're probably going to continue to slide.
Yeah.
So
It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
It almost feels
And
like they're a team that missed their chance.
they are. They had a couple of bad decisions in the playoffs that hurt them, but they had their opportunities to go get it done. So now they're paying people, and that's the good thing about the NFL. Outside of a couple of franchises that can't figure anything out, that cap gets you. It brings you back down to earth. And
Yep.
the Lions missed their shot. When the Saints went all in, trying to follow what the Rams did, it just didn't work. And then it hurt them for 8 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it was it's been a rough go of it if you're a Saints fan. So I mean, yeah, unfortunately for the Lions, they probably did miss their window. It's not closed, but you're going to have to shimmy through it if you're going to make it happen.
Yeah.
Well, I felt that the Lions went as far as Ben Johnson took them,
Sure.
and Ben Johnson is really the guy who made the head coach look really, really good. I now feel that. You know what I mean? I feel like that when you saw him take over for Chicago, and you saw how well Chicago did, and listen, Chicago got lucky a lot this season. When you win one score games all the time, the first few are lucky. After that, you start to feel lucky, and that's when preparation meets opportunity. It's like the first ones, you got a couple of bounces. The next few, well, we just won those first few. Why can't we win all of them? And ultimately, what were they, like 13-2 in one score games?
Well, that was like the Vikings 2 years ago, right? They were 11-1. I mean, but the thing is that's not sustainable year to year.
Yeah.
Right.
And you go to the next year and the Vikings lost all those games.
Yeah. Same with the Chiefs. The Chiefs wanted
Yeah.
like 7 or 8 wins in like one score games, and yeah, it catches up to you. So for sure.
Yeah. What do you think of the Eagles' move so far? Well, they haven't made any.
Yeah.
Loss. I am. Hey, listen, and Howie, I trust. I really do. I hope he's got an idea. The one issue that I have felt is that they have had very difficult time drafting safeties. That safety has been a position that's had to come through free agency. That they have not been able to draft a safety since Dawkins. And as good as Brian Dawkins was, He got drafted in like 96, 95, maybe even earlier than that. I mean, so it's been a long time. We had Reed Blankenship, and he was great. You know what I mean? I felt like that they should have kept him, and that I understand that he wasn't everything that they wanted from that position, but he was definitely a lot better than what I've seen out there. And the fact that we didn't sign anybody, and we still haven't signed anybody, is on the challenging side.
It means you guys are really looking at the
Yeah.
draft.
Let's hope.
You're not
Yeah.
giving us a lot of hope, though, man. Like, I'm feeling bad.
No, but that's what I say. I trust in
Right.
our general manager. Our general manager has been great at the draft as of late.
Yeah.
They
Absolutely.
have changed the way that they look at things.
Mhm.
And having Joe Douglas back in the fold here, like, we drafted really well when it was Joe Douglas doing most of the scouting and Howie doing most of the contracts. And obviously Howie has a lot to say because it's Howie's butt that's on the line. But when he has Joe Douglas here, he does great. When Joe Douglas,
Mhm.
the first year Joe Douglas went to the Jets, that was when they started to take wide receivers that weren't doing very well, in their first couple of picks, first round picks. So I like and I trust, and I got to, because we have been a great team over the last 10 years, even.
Yeah, I mean, that reworking of what you said sounded a lot better than the way you initially said it, because it
Yes.
sounded like it needed the Eeyore soundbite of "not that it matters anyway." Like,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's hard when you lose guys that have
No, that's right.
contributed to championships.
Absolutely.
Right.
And
For sure.
that's what's going
Definitely.
on. It's just like, I understand why he's doing it, and I understand he does not want to overpay for a guy who doesn't have all the tools. Like, Reed Blankenship, I think, got signed for what, $30 million or something like that to the Raiders, not Raiders, Houston.
Let's see, what did he get?
I-
3-year, 24 and 3/4.
Yeah, so obviously $8 million a year, I didn't think was that heavy of a signing. You know what I mean? But the
Yeah.
fact that he must have wanted to go, and he's with Houston, and Houston's making some moves, they're solidifying a defense that I thought was really good in the first place.
Yeah, their defense was elite, and then they're just adding pieces like that. They're not messing around. They're definitely trying to dominate that division.
They better start figuring out their offensive line, though, because you
Yes.
cannot have your quarterback give the ball away 8 times a game and expect to win.
Yeah. Okay. Dang, Joe.
Well, he's a Cowboys fan, so that makes sense. That being said, that does get it to the top of the hour. We appreciate you guys playing along with us today. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. Helps us bring our stuff to you. If you're listening on the radio, stay tuned on ICU Radio 97.3. Some smooth jazz headed your way. Coming up next. We'll see you all tomorrow. Take it easy, everybody.
Peace.